So budget limitations are no longer a major problem for filmmaking, unless you want to build like crazy gigantic sets. Then that becomes a problem. So
Mhm.
a lot of the budget now goes towards paying well-known actors, their extremely high fees. But yeah, indie filmmakers can do virtually anything now at a low budget because the technology is so good.
Yeah. I lay on the scale, you gotta glow, you gotta glow. She had my attention, she gotta know.
I'd like to welcome everyone to another episode of the Let's Scatter podcast. I'm your host Zeke, and in this episode I have Sujewa to speak about the ins and outs of indie filmmaking. You can find more information about him by clicking the link in the description below. I'd like to give a content warning for any strong language used in this episode, and hope you have a nice day and enjoy the show. So, first, I'd like to welcome you to the Let's Scatter podcast, and thank you for being a guest. And I'll give you the floor to introduce yourself to the audience.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for having me. I met Let's Gather podcast at Ezekiel at the April 20th screening that was happening at Film Noir Cinema back there. And I organized that screening. I'm an independent filmmaker in Brooklyn, New York, and I have a movie called Cosmic Disco Detective Renee that is doing really well on YouTube, over 208,000 views right now. And I'm working on two other movies that are related to that movie right now. And I've made around 11 movies in the past, about six fiction features. And I've done film screenings in DC, Seattle, New York, Chicago with those movies. And almost all of them are available on YouTube or on Vimeo.
Nice.
My intro, and my name is Sujewa Ekanayake.
Okay, I might have to pronounce that a couple times.
Sure, Sujewa.
Sujewa.
There we go.
Got it.
It'll take a while. It took me a while.
Great. So before we get into the movie, I guess we could start with what made you want to become a filmmaker in the first place?
Around, I think, 18 years of age, a very long time ago, maybe 17, 18, I looked at all my options, maybe becoming a lawyer, becoming a fashion designer. I think those were a couple of the options I was looking at. Then somehow, oh yeah, I discovered Spike Lee and filmmaking, and I was always into movies. I was always creative, drawing stuff, usually visual arts, and I was good with communication, interested in history and stuff like that. So filmmaking was a good challenge, indie filmmaking especially. Films bring together lots of other disciplines, for making movies: writing, shooting, editing, music, etc. So I thought that making and releasing films would be a good challenge for life, a good way to spend one's life.
Got it. Nice. And to continue with your current movie, a couple of things I noticed is that you do hold your shots for a long time.
Mhm.
And as a fellow creative, I always wonder, like, how do you know what's the best time to hold something for our audience to see?
Well, that movie uses a style called slow cinema, which is which is an international art house style, and that there's no one right shot length. It depends on the project. So if you're doing a 2-minute video, obviously your shots, if you have a bunch of stuff to cover, obviously you're going to have short shots. But if you're doing a 90-minute movie, you can let your shots run long and have that be like the stage within which the actors and the action or even regular life can perform inside it. So it's a style. Using long shots in slow cinema movies is a style. So I try to use typically maybe 30 seconds or 1 hour, 1 minute long shots, and if necessary, longer.
Got it. And like I was with the flow in the movie, I felt like there was like multiple things going on that did interact with each other, but I felt like separate movies happening at the same time.
Yeah, in that movie, um, we see images and sometimes sounds from lots of different dimensions, but the main story takes place in one dimension. So a
Hmm.
lot of the other stuff we see are, the basis behind the story is that there are multiple dimensions, and these characters also exist in other dimensions. So we see little glimpses of those.
So yeah, those like the main things I saw.
Awesome. And
And
did you watch the movie all the way through? And
yeah,
did you like the story?
yeah, I was mainly trying to keep up with it, just like, okay,
Right.
what's going on? Because
Right.
I like assumed like a linear path, but then I think it was like repeating shots of you talking to the government, if I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
mistaken.
The
Yeah.
detective that I played talking to the
Hmm.
government agent. Yeah, I kept bringing that back to just to remind people there's sort of a countdown. There's a nuclear attack that might
Yeah.
happen. So also to tie everything together because without it, everything felt too loose. You know,
Hmm.
I wanted to sort of remind people there is a plot, even though there's a lot of things going on.
And then at the beginning of the movie, there's people walking backwards, and that was brought up towards the end of the movie about the dream of people walking backwards.
Yeah, we explained why that's happening.
Hmm. Yeah, at first it was like this is different, which is took me a while to like get used to, but then I got used to it. And now when you
Oh,
said the
oh,
long form, is
yeah.
then that makes more sense of why the movie was shot the way it was.
Yeah. I mean, even for me, sometimes I watch a movie that I'm not at all familiar with the style, right? And it
Hmm.
makes no sense to me. And then I try to learn about the style. Then I understand. Oh, this is why they're doing it this way. So like every genre of movies and subgenres within them have a style. Like this. Like if you watch a romantic comedy and you've never seen a romantic comedy before, you'd be like, "Why are people behaving this way? This is not realistic." They're just using the tropes and the ways of telling stories, within that genre. It works for people who know the genre. So yeah, if you watch a movie and it makes no sense, then read up on it and see, oh, what are they trying to do?
Hmm.
That's good advice for a lot of people because unfamiliar things will look confusing at first.
Yeah. And then I felt like it was like a commentary on what's happening with movies right now, where you're talking about people going to cinema, not going to cinema, just watching streaming.
Hmm Yeah, we some of that stuff was improvised, but written off of things that off of things that I
Hmm.
wrote, which was everyone in the movie is a filmmaker, so these film related comments about making movies and releasing movies are in there because that's a part of their regular life.
Got it. And so I'm not too familiar with the previous movies, but like, is this like the first time you did this style, or you took inspiration from before?
This is, I think, the third time I did the slow cinema style. I did, the earlier movie that's related to
Hmm.
this movie. It's called The Secret Society for Slow Romance. It's just two people talking over a number of nights at one table in my apartment, and you can see that movie on YouTube also.
Hmm.
And you'll see the similar pattern of using long, slow shots and cutting into shots of the city. Whereas in the new movie, I cut to images from different dimensions. Prior to that, I did a movie called Werewolf Ninja Philosopher. That's on YouTube also, and both all three movies have shown in movie theaters. You know, one night, etc., in various cities. But YouTube is where a lot of these movies are getting discovered. So Werewolf Ninja Philosopher was a very slow cinema movie, black and white, about a detective who's a werewolf.
Yeah, and that was referenced in the current movie. And
Hmm
these both are.
And
Yeah.
how did you get started with your podcast? Are you a music maker, filmmaker?
No, I'm more of like a graphic designer.
Awesome,
By I used to do art, and then when I got to college, I transitioned to graphic design,
awesome.
and then using that. And then when I graduated college, I was trying to figure out a way to showcase my skills. And then I was like, I'll listen to a podcast, and I was like, I can do a podcast. And then I know a lot of people, so I could easily get guests, and then go from there.
And how has that been going? Is the podcast doing well?
It did the best year was last year, even though I took like a break, and right now I'm on like a semi break. I'm
Mhm.
trying to change the format, but I'm trying to figure out the best way to do that. So it was like last year was like the best year, and then right now it's like slowly just still going.
Rebuilding, yeah, it takes a
Yeah,
while to get back into something after you take a little break.
yeah. So I was like, I was burning myself out, and I was like, what am I to do next?
Mhm, mhm. Maybe slow down, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and did you like, seeing Man Baby on the 20th?
yeah. It
Did
was
it
fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to show,
Hmm.
Cosmic Disco Detective Renee also at that theater.
Nice. And do you own that theater, or you just work there?
No, I don't work there or own it. I, organize events there sometimes.
Oh, nice.
It would be nice to own a theater, though.
Yeah,
You live in Brooklyn?
yeah.
Where do you live? What area?
Best Eye, not too far
Nice,
from the theater. So.
nice, nice. When I first moved to New York, I stayed at an apartment in Bed-Stuy for like a month. Actually, no, longer than that. Just on the weekends, I lived in DC, so I would do trips back and forth,
Mhm.
and then found a place in Sunset Park, and I've been in Sunset Park ever since. Second place in Sunset Park now.
Born and raised, so
Nice.
yeah, like commentary about New York in your movie about all the things in New York, like the
Yeah,
rats
for
and the
for
pizza. Yeah.
yeah, for someone who's not from here, New York is amazing. I think, yeah, people who are born here maybe are used to it because it's the general environment they're raised in, right?
Hmm.
But other places are super slow compared to New York. Not
Yeah.
much happening.
Because like when I go outside the state, I'm just like everything closes too early. I need everything to close and 2 o'clock in the morning.
Mhm.
Places close at 10 o'clock. I'm just like, that's I got more things to do.
Right? And, other places look empty and slow compared to New
Yeah.
York. After you live here for even a couple of years, you're operating at a different level.
Everything got to move fast, but it's controlled fast. It's not like chaotic.
Mhm, mhm. It's nice. I mean, some parts of New York are too busy for me, but Brooklyn is nice.
Yeah. Like I'm never at Times Square because there's just no reason to, but
Yeah, yeah. Too much craziness.
yeah.
So you like a lot of movies?
I say movies like towards like the middle of like my interests. I watch them here and there. It was mainly when the Marvel were coming out, I was solely watching them. I didn't watch all of them in theaters, but back when then I was keeping up.
Mhm.
And I
And
was like,
now you've been introduced to art house cinema.
yes.
Yeah, you can check out Godard movies,
Mhm.
Jarmusch movies, various film festival movies. For slow cinema, you can check out Love Diaz, Pedro Costa. Also, Hong Sang-soo is a good middle point filmmaker. Somewhat slow, but stories that kind of are very similar to regular movies.
Mhm.
But they take place in Korea, in South Korea, and his movies are available online to rent on Amazon, Google Play. But that's another good art house filmmaker to check out. But also on the experimental side, we have from New York Chantal Ackerman, we have Jonas Mekas, and we have Jarmusch. So there's a lot of filmmakers that do non-mainstream art house type stuff that are from New York.
Got it.
Spike Lee, of course, he does all kinds of movies.
Yeah. I was more of like an anime fan.
Oh,
So
good,
that's where my entertainment came from.
awesome. So
And
over time, you can discover the other genres and see what you like.
yeah. But I was like, this is different, but I don't know why. But now we went through this, I'm like, okay, now I know what to expect.
Yeah, it's like food or music, right? If
Hmm.
you've never heard of a certain type of music and you hear it, and it will be like baffling and confusing, and you'll be like, "Is this even music?" But then
Yeah.
you learn why it's that way, and you're like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." Same
Hmm.
thing with food, right? Whenever you eat food from a different country and you haven't had it before, you might not like it, but after a while, you develop a taste for it.
Yeah. Because for me, when I make things like animations, I'm always wondering like how long do I keep this scene going, or like I don't want to keep it too long, but I also want to keep it short because like I understand what I'm trying to do, but like I don't have the opinion of somebody who doesn't know how the background
Mhm, mhm.
knowledge of
Well
it.
well, if you wanna keep a shot long as something is happening in the shot,
Hmm.
whether it's a conversation or cameras moving or some other action and we're seeing something change, I think as long as something happening in a shot, you can keep a lot of people interested. If it's just a static camera looking at someone by themselves, not doing anything, or just a building for a long time, some people will get bored.
Got it. And so when you make your films, what kind of challenges do you face?
Um, the typical ones that a lot of indie filmmakers face, they're not insurmountable, but fundraising, writing a script, getting things organized, a lot of problems during the filming, and then editing, and then getting a release together, promoting. So it's a bunch of work.
Mhm. Got it. And then how do you find like locations and then shoot there? You just
Usually, I keep notes on interesting places I see as I
Mhm.
wander around and run around the city and do stuff. So if I see a place that would work for a movie, I ask the owner and um, I say I'm making an indie movie. It's micro budget. Can I film here? We'll eat. You know, if it's a restaurant, we'll buy food from here, etc., and give you credit in the movie. We'll need a release form, etc., etc. So usually most people are supportive as long as you're not gonna get in their way too much, or if
Mhm.
you're filming when they're not busy or when they're closed, they're okay with it.
Cool.
And for the exterior shots in New York, as long as you're not blocking the traffic, you can wander around and get exterior shots. There may be some limits with some private businesses how much of them you show, but
Mhm.
anything that's visible in public generally is okay to show in your movie.
Got it.
I mean, you can't point at a building and say, "Oh, there's criminals inside," blah blah blah, right? And make it seem like the news. But if it's fiction, I don't think it'll be a problem.
Got it. And when you was making go back to your earlier point, when you was making a decision what to do, why did filmmaking like why was that the one that just popped up? Like you said, it's a good challenge.
Yeah, it's a good challenge. Um, it's like the most popular art form. A lot of people watch movies, and there's a lot to learn in order to do it. You know, mostly I thought it was an exciting thing to tackle to try to do with one's life, and that's been the case. Now I live in New York now. That's exciting, and I make movies. That's exciting, and each movie is a challenge, so that's exciting. So my guess about filmmaking turned out to be correct.
Nice. I'm still trying to figure myself out, but I'll figure it out soon.
You're doing graphic design now.
No, currently looking for work, but before that, mainly in like marketing is like the work and then gaming, everything else, podcasts on the side.
And but you study graphic design, right?
I study marketing and the
Marketing.
minor
Yeah, cool.
minor in media arts, which is similar to graphic design.
hmm Awesome. How do you like being on YouTube?
It was cool. At first I didn't like keep up with it. Like I didn't like keep up like put too much energy into it because at the time I was going through the apocalypse. I'm not sure 102, and I didn't know like how viable it was gonna be, but still have presence. And right now I just try to strategize how to get the videos to be shown because I know that you have to have the initial people first, and then it will show to the regular to everybody else. So just
hmm
trying to keep up with the algorithm.
Yeah, what I've discovered, I've been getting high views for about a couple of months now for my new movie.
Mhm.
What worked was uh, I'm hearing a buzz. Is that on your side or are things okay?
Everything's okay on my side.
Okay, it must be some.
Probably with my phone that you heard vibrate.
Okay, good, good, good. All right, no
Yeah.
problem. Yeah, that's the sharp ears we have to have when filmmaking. You hear that again?
Not that again. Okay, so
There
something
must
else.
be something here then. Anyway, it's fine. If you're not picking it up, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah. So over the last couple of months, what I discovered was I did links from a lot of blogs, a lot of my social media pages to my video. And I did some ads, like a couple dollars each on Facebook, Google, YouTube. And after about 3 weeks of doing that, YouTube started showing my movie to more and more people. And as I've gotten more views and more likes and more subscribers, then they keep doing. Then they increase how much they show. How many people they show the movie to. So I keep getting a lot of views. So keep promoting through multiple means
Mm-hmm.
until YouTube figures out how to promote your movie. I mean, your video or various videos.
Yeah.
That's my recommendation. But YouTube looks like a great way to reach out to people worldwide.
Yeah, because they have the not even market share, like the name recognition of
Hmm.
search, because YouTube almost replaced search like Google did.
For video stuff,
Yeah.
YouTube is like number one. A lot of people use Facebook also. A lot of people use Google. Some people use Twitter. TikTok is big, but it looks like it's running into legal hurdles in the US.
Yeah.
But yeah, for filmmakers, other artists, getting a YouTube presence going, I think, is really good.
And yeah, because sometimes I just get random spikes of views, and I didn't do anything. It just something just kept trickling down, and I was like, okay, just go with it.
Yeah. I think what happens is someone watches something and then YouTube recommends one of your videos that might have to do with that. I've been getting a lot of that. Like my movie's a full length free movie that's on YouTube, right? So I've been getting some recommendations, some traffic because people watched another movie and then YouTube recommended my movie after that. So YouTube is like, oh, if you watched one movie on YouTube, you might like this one. Check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's not, and obviously YouTube won't come out and say do exactly this to get the views because they want to control, what videos get the views for advertising purposes, blah blah blah. What doesn't. But yeah, once you deal with it for a while, you can figure out what's happening.
Hmm.
And filmmaking is a great thing for people to get into now that the with the new cameras, with the phone cameras, and YouTube, you can shoot something on your phone, cut it, and then edit it on your computer, and then put it up on YouTube, and people may discover it, and they'll have some comments about it.
Yeah, that's how I did the podcast. So I didn't have money for a camera, so I had two phones,
Yeah,
and
yeah. The new tech is amazing. When I got started in the '90s, we didn't have any of that, so everything was slow. Prior to the last 2 years, I was making and releasing one movie every 3, 4 years. But last 2 years, I've been able to do one every year. Now I'm going to try to do like five every year, just because the technology is so good now.
it'd be all the same length or just
Each will be around 90 minutes. Yeah. And scripted. I usually work off scripts. Some prolific filmmakers improvise, but I like having written scripts. Makes the end product better in my view.
Mhm.
The characters and the stories better.
Got it. And you can. So what's like the process of writing a script? If you're gonna do like five,
Hmm.
how is that
Uh,
gonna?
it's difficult. What else were you gonna say?
I'm just saying, like, I'm just asking the question, like, how you gonna do that? Like, what is the process?
Well, usually I get a rough idea for a movie, then I gather lots of notes. So a finished movie is like a 90-minute script, right? 90
Mm-hmm.
pages for one of my movies. So I may end up with maybe 500 to 1,000 pages of notes. Like, how can this, just different variations on how characters, scenes, backgrounds, dialogue could go. Then I start selecting the best elements. Then I fine tune it, and then I'm able to put together a script that makes sense for myself and the other actors.
Got it.
Yeah, it's mostly just typing things out, getting all your ideas out, right? Doing like a rough draft, and then fine tuning it down to 90 minutes. So it's not sitting there and trying to come up with the best final version page after page. So it's easier if you just talk into a camera or a audio recording device, and then and or just sit down and type every day, get a lot of the ideas out, and then edit it down.
Uh,
That is the process.
you gotta do it 5 times. Have fun with that.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Yeah, what I'm doing is getting rough ideas down for like the next 50 or whatever movies in the series.
Hmm.
There's I'm doing a series called 53 Spaceships. The detectives are tasked with locating 53 missing spaceships that the government found and moved to New York from all over the world, right? So that's the new case. So each case will be about looking for one of the missing spaceships from a certain part of the world.
Hmm.
So so I'm getting that, broad uh project plan set up. I'm doing a blog for every movie, so 53 blogs will be up and running, which will help me promote everything. And then I'm going to do one movie at a time, right? Finish up one script, shoot it, release it, then write, sit down, and write the other script. So not just five maybe this year, but going forward, I want to do a movie every month, maybe a couple of movies every month. So I'm figuring out how to do things faster
Hmm.
while maintaining the high quality that you saw in the Renee movie.
And you edit it yourself also?
Yeah, I edit, I shoot, I do some acting, and record sound. I figured out how to do everything myself during the pandemic because
Hmm.
no one else was around to help out. But previously, even prior to that, I had really small crews, maybe a crew of like 2 or 3 people.
Got it.
But as you know now, it's possible to put together a podcast and
Yeah.
movie by yourself. I mean, if the action you're filming is not too complicated.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it has like car chases and a bunch of other things happening, you might still be able to do that in a creative way. You just have to think about it.
Hmm. I see on TikTok is talking about like with the movie lost the budget, so it doesn't show the accident. It just show the people talking, and it says don't look over there. There's not enough money in the budget.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean that is no longer a problem, I think, because
Mhm.
the the camera phones are so mobile that you can move them anywhere, and you can even do exciting action scenes just in a car holding up a phone because it'll
Mhm.
look exciting because it's moving. So budget limitations are no longer a major problem for filmmaking unless you want to build like crazy gigantic sets, then that becomes a problem. So
Mhm.
a lot of the budget now goes towards paying well-known actors, their extremely high fees. But yeah, indie filmmakers can do virtually anything now at a low budget because the technology is so good.
Got it.
So don't let the budget be an obstacle.
I'll make sure. I try.
Yeah, or you or
Yeah.
just anyone listening, find creative ways to get what you want done using the tools and the budget that you have.
Like the guy from Spike who directed Spy Kids. Ah, sorry.
Yeah, from back in the day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, about to wrap up. 9 minutes left.
Cool. And then to further on the podcast, since I did graphic design, I already had the skills for a podcast. So I'll just like it was just an easy transition of just use
Yeah,
everything I have already,
yeah,
and then
yeah, yeah. That's the way to go. Do more podcasts and movies and get better. Over time. Add lights. Use different cameras. Eventually,
Mhm.
some podcasts have really high production value on YouTube, as you've seen. But those everyone started just by using their whatever the camera they had, camera phone or whatever. And the thing is to keep doing your thing so that you can refine it and improve it over time.
Yeah.
when I show my next movie, I'll let you know. And this movie, Renee movie, and the two that are coming, uh, 53 spaceships, and the one after that will be called NYC UFO Sex Cult. And so when they're showing at Film Noir or somewhere else, I'll let you know so you can come down and maybe we can talk about them again.
Okay,
Awesome.
cool. So, I guess we can wrap up. So, any last things you want to say?
Check out my stuff on at Sujewa Fantastic at Twitter, and check out my movies on YouTube, also on Vimeo VOD. Google at those sites, and yeah, that's it. Check out the movies. Cosmic Disco Detective Renee is doing really well on YouTube, so that might be a good place to start. Leave comments, subscribe, like the usual if you like the movie.
Cool. And again, thank you for being the guest.
Thanks a lot for interviewing people.
Cool. Anytime.
That brings another episode of the Let's Get Podcast to a close. Again, you can find more information about Sujewa by clicking the link in the description below. Hope you continue this day, and I hope to see you there.